Oh, hello there. I'm Ryan Reynolds, and you are listening to the Court Case Podcast. Maximum effort.
Hello and welcome to the Court Case Podcast with me, your host, James Court.
And Sweet Tea.
Today we have got an amazing guest on the show for you today. Me and Sweet Tea recently went and saw the play that's touring the UK, The Play That Goes Wrong, and we have got one of the lead actors of the play chatting to us today. He's going to talk about the play, we're going to talk about his acting. It's all coming right after this. Hello, Tom. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming on.
No worries at all. Thanks for having me.
That's okay. So Tom is starring in The Play That Goes Wrong, which is touring at locations in the UK at the moment. Where is it at the moment, Tom?
So at the moment, we are in Edinburgh, which is very nice. Having a lovely time up here. We just got here yesterday. We're here for the week, and it's such a lovely city. We're having a great time up here.
Oh, nice.
That's sweet, because we went to see it just a couple of weeks ago, and it was in Portsmouth, which is the complete other end of the UK. So you're all over the place.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of long travelling on this tour. It's sort of one of the things of like when you book a venue in, it's normally Portsmouth to Edinburgh, and then for some reason Brighton the week afterwards.
Oh
so you're yo-yoing up and down a lot.
Is that all paid for, like your hotel and your travel and everything?
So you get a subsistence fee on top of your salary. So you have to book it yourself, but you're sort of given some money to pay for travel and to pay for your food and your accommodation, etc. So, we're all trying to pocket as much of that money as possible. So we're always trying to find as cheap places as possible to stay.
Yeah,
of course.
That's so fun.
Yeah, it's got to be such a fun lifestyle, though, just checking out all these different places.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's so much fun. Although I will say I haven't got to explore as much as I've wanted to on tour because you're just so tired.
Yeah.
So I'm often just sleeping until very late in the afternoon and then crawling onto stage in the evening.
I want to ask first, how did you get involved with this particular theatre company? Because they're doing really interesting stuff.
When I went to drama school, in 2017, 2018, and I was taught by the original director of The Play That Goes Wrong, Mark Bell. He taught me clown. And for those who sort of don't know, clown, although it sounds like, doing circus tricks and wearing a big red nose, it's actually sort of a form of acting and art based around sort of commedia dell'arte and sort of learning how to be funny. And I hadn't really thought I could be funny or a comic actor before then. And it's really changed my perspective on how you can perform and how you can create comedy on stage. So I sort of fell in love with the work from his teaching at school. And then afterwards, I just sort of knew that he directed The Play That Goes Wrong, and I just sort of pursued it. And so I sort of harassing him and other members of the company for about a year afterwards until they gave me an audition. And I auditioned in the summer of 2019, and I've been doing it ever since.
Oh,
Apart
wow.
from COVID, of course.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's amazing, though. But that's the thing. Persistence is key, I think. Absolutely. I don't think you can obviously say that enough. But could you tell us, for people that don't know, obviously we've seen it, but for people that don't know, could you tell them about The Play That Goes Wrong, like what it's about?
Sure. So The Play That Goes Wrong follows a group of amateur actors from the Cornley Polytechnic Drama Society who are trying to put on a murder mystery, but failing miserably along the way. So they're getting their lines, the set keeps falling to pieces, they keep losing their props. And so chaos ensues very quickly as soon as the play begins and sort of builds to a crescendo at the end where everything is going wrong, but they are determined to finish the play because my character, Chris, is a bit of a tyrant. He's the director and the lead of the play, and he's determined that the play will be finished no matter what. So even when things are going wrong, and even when people are in serious medical danger, he will not stop the play.
Yeah,
it's hilarious. I'm not gonna lie.
Thank you.
It's one of the funniest plays I've seen in a while, and I was very, because I've known you from the past. So I was very surprised when I saw that you were playing it there. But your character was fantastic, and I was really surprised at how funny your performance was.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, that character. Chris is he's a horrible, horrible man, but I love playing him.
There was one bit in particular which I think T thinks was improv, but I don't think it was.
Oh, yeah. We can actually ask.
You know when you were sat on the sofa looking for the ledger?
Yes.
And someone in the back said where it was?
Mm-hmm.
Was that? Do you have someone in the back to say that, or was that improv?
So we don't have someone in the back, like we don't have a plant in the audience. However, most shows an audience member will shout out.
Oh,
The
okay.
ledger's underneath me.
Right.
So that bit is improv. So I am just riffing with the audience about what they're giving me. So if they laugh at a particular joke, I'll shout at them for that. If they don't laugh, I'll just shout at them for a different reason.
God.
But sometimes they don't shout out. And so if they don't shout out, there's a different way of finding the ledger. But yeah, no, that it's not scripted, but also it's not fully improv, because I do expect an audience member to shout out.
So
In
cool.
which case, that is even more amazing
Yeah.
than I thought, because I thought it was completely scripted. That's fantastic. That is
yeah, that's mad. You're like relying on the audience in a sense. That's so cool.
When you've done the show enough times, you know the
Yeah.
tricks to get an audience member to shout out. For me, it's such a small thing, but it's looking at them enough.
Yeah.
So when I'm sort of looking for the ledger, I keep sort of going back to the audience and looking at them and smiling like everything's fine, everything's fine. But because I've sort of made that connection with the audience, they feel much more able to say something.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at them like begging for help. So yeah, you learn the tricks.
That's great. And I've noticed after seeing the play that there's other ones, such as there's a magic one that goes wrong, and there's a Peter Pan that goes wrong as well. Have you ever gotten involved in those ones, or do you just like sticking to this one?
So not yet. I've only done this one so far. I'd love to do the other ones. They're really great plays, really interesting, like very funny. So hopefully one day I get to do those. But at the moment, no, I've just done the play that goes wrong. But yeah, Magic Goes Wrong is quite new and it's so much fun. It's also incredibly ambitious. I don't know if you go see it, you'll see what I'm talking about. There's so much tech in that play. It's incredible.
Wow.
That's so cool. I do want to see all the others.
Yeah.
Just be a play that goes wrong, binger.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think so.
But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about how the theatre has coped since now we're sort of coming out of COVID. I understand that a lot of people that worked in theatre did not have as much support as other people that were sort of on furlough and things during lockdown. And now that we're coming out, and you know, there was a lot of like ad campaigns to try and get people back into the theatre. How do you, as someone that's in there working in it, how do you feel it's gone at the moment? Is it looking promising? Is it positive at the moment?
You're right to say that. Absolutely, it's very tough for a lot of people in my industry. I wasn't on furlough. I didn't even get the self-employed support scheme until a year after it started, because of my weird tax situation meant that I was just left on my own for a long time. So it was really, really tough for a lot of people. But for the return, it has been a bit slow, I'd say, and that's just not our theatre. I think a lot of theatres have found that. I've had auditions at other shows at the moment, and they have said they have noticed that audiences are still smaller than they were, because some people are still hesitant to return, and that's totally understandable. So it has been a bit tough, but I do think we're starting to see things pick up now. I do think there's more confidence now that things are hopefully sort of reached an equilibrium.
Yeah.
So people feel like they're not going to buy tickets and then suddenly the show gets cancelled and then they lose all their money. So I do feel like people are feeling more confident now and are returning, but it is going to be a long process. This isn't going to be sort of, I think, fixed in the next couple of months. I feel like there's going to be a lot of people who don't want to go to the theatre for understandable reasons for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we have to sort of adapt as much as we can to try and make sure people feel comfortable when they come to the theatre, and also make sure that shows can financially run. But at the moment, we're very lucky that our show is quite, compared to a lot of other big shows, it's cheaper to run because there's less actors. It's a bit more hodgepodge because of the style, so it can run. It's a show that did run when we had socially distanced audiences, whereas most theatre shows cannot run with a socially distanced audience. Right. They need at least to sell 70% in order to make even anything of a profit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I understand that. It's been really tough. But that's good what you've said. I'm glad things are on the up and up, which is really good. I want to mention we've known each other since a short film called Soames War, when we were both at college together. How has your acting career been since then? Have you done much screen stuff? Has it all been theatre?
It's been a mix, really. Anything that pays me, I'll do. So I've done some film. I did do a film with Tom Cruise.
Very
Oh
nice.
my gosh!
Yeah.
What
Well,
a
it was the terrible remake of The Mummy.
Oh, you won that one. Okay.
Yeah, it was terrible. And I did 1 day of shooting on that with Tom Cruise. I got cut from the film.
Oh.
It's fine. Like, it was one of those parts I started filming. I went, "Oh, they're gonna cut this."
So if you get cut, do you still get paid or?
You still get paid,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, that's right.
I just don't get the footage of me, on set.
Was on the deleted scenes?
I don't think so. It wasn't like a big enough scene. Like, it was literally, I was an alleyway thug. There was a bit where Tom Cruise came into an alleyway and I like barged past him, went like, "Oh, get out of my way." It wasn't the height of drama.
Yeah.
So I did that, which was a lot of fun. I've done a few other things, got a couple of TV things. I did a show called Quiz, which was about the guy who cheated on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Which was really good, actually. That was a really good project. I loved working on that. But mostly theatre, I'll be honest. Sort of got a few things hopefully coming up in the future, which I can't quite talk about yet.
Of course.
Which hopefully, might be a bit of both theatre and screen. But yeah, mostly stage work, to be honest. Yeah, which has been a lot of fun.
Do you have a preference? I'm guessing stage work, but
No, nothing really. Again, anything that pays me. As long as it's good work and it pays the bills, I'll take it. Screen work's always nice because it tends to be less time consuming. As an actor, but it's also a lot of fun. But theatre's also, you never get that same connection with an audience as you do on the stage. So yeah, it really depends.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Do you have a favourite piece of stage or screen acting that you've ever seen?
Oof, it's a very that's a big question. There's a few that pop into my mind that are like some of my favourite. But it's always it's never like there's a monologue. I do this monologue a lot now for my auditions, and it's in a play called Things I Know to Be True by a writer called Andrew Bavell.
Right.
And there's this monologue, this opening monologue. It's about a 10-minute monologue of this character talking about her sort of gap year abroad, where she fell in love with this man and he abandoned her one night, and it's. Honestly, it doesn't sound like incredible. It's one of the most beautiful stories I've ever seen told on stage.
Wow.
I was in bits. It was the opening 10 minutes of this play. I was crying my eyes out.
Oh my
God. I do this monologue now in audition because I think it's so good, and I have a very positive responses from it because everyone's like, that monologue's incredible. Like, it's such a beautiful and human story of just putting yourself out there and being rejected. So yeah, I think that is up there as one of my favorite things I've ever seen on stage. But yeah, it sort of changes all the time, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, it really depends what mood I'm in to what my favorite is.
Absolutely, that's good. I'm gonna check that. I'll check that monologue out. Speaking of stage acting, there is often an assumption that actors are all very confident people. But when you go out on stage, is there something that you're afraid of, or something that you're always nervous of, or something like that?
Well, I think also, there always is. I'm always nervous. I don't think you ever get over that. But I've met loads of actors who, off stage, are the quietest, most timid people. I think it's very much we come on stage and put on these personas of confidence that we know what we're doing. But I mean, I'm always talking about the play that goes wrong. That bit of the play we talked about earlier, where I'm ranting at the audience, is the bit I'm always worried about.
Yeah,
I come on and I'm always like, oof. What's it going to be like tonight? Am I going to accidentally swear at the audience? Because that's a big no. And so it's so I'm always nervous going out. We had a show just last night, which something actually went wrong on stage at the beginning of the play. We were trying to fix it for the whole of the first act, and it was really stressful for us to try and actually try and fix this thing on stage that was broken. Otherwise, it was going to ruin a future gag. So. There's always those moments. Yeah.
If it goes wrong, surely people would think it's just part of it, though.
Yeah, it's one of the blessings of this play that you can do anything, and the audience always thinks it's part of it. I mean, the first time I was originally an understudy on this play, and then I sort of moved up to play the character I do now. But when I was an understudy, the first time I went on halfway through the play because someone smashed their head and had to come off stage.
Wow.
And so I had to come on stage halfway through the play and start playing that character, and audiences thought that was the joke.
Yeah, of course.
I was a that character just didn't want to be in the play anymore, and so they'd had to drag in this other guy who they'd not seen before to play that part. So the audience, and we had someone come out on stage and say, "Oh, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately this actor's injured, so he'll be played by this actor now." And the audience laugh; they think it's a joke. They don't believe it's happening. And so it's one of the curses and joys of this play, is that no matter what, the audiences always think it's part of it, and sometimes that can be to the detriment, like if the fire alarm goes off and you're like, no, you have to leave the building.
Oh god, yeah, I hadn't thought of that.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
But are you in, because a lot of actors have to do like side gigs, they don't know when the next role is coming, something like that. Are you in a position where you have to do that, or are you quite comfortable now?
At the moment, I'm lucky enough that I don't have to do that. The play is so full on. It is a full-time job, and it does luckily pay as such. So I don't need to look for other work at the moment. Although you are always aware that as a freelancer, as any freelance industry, is that once this job's over, you've got to find the next job. And so you've got to put your feelers out there, and you've got to try and start making sure you're not going to eat into all the savings you've made on this job. So I'm always on the lookout for the next gig, but at the moment, no, I'm just working this job.
Okay.
How long is your rehearsal period? Because do you rehearse now when you're in every other country? Oh, sorry, city.
No. When I originally rehearsed the play back in 2019, we had 5 weeks of rehearsal.
Oh, right.
And then obviously we shut down because of COVID and everything. So when we came back to do the show again, because we'd all done it before and everything, we just had 1 week of rehearsals, and then we're straight out, and then we're on the road, and there's no real rehearsals after that. Like, there's bits of the show we sort of go over again occasionally if they're particularly dangerous. Like the sword fight has to be done every night to make sure that is safe. But no, once you've got it rehearsed, you just go and do it. Occasionally we have things called understudy rehearsals, which is what they say, that what they do on the tin. They're for our understudies to practice the parts that they cover. Right. So occasionally we have those while we're on tour, but nothing more.
Fair enough.
Do you have a good relationship with the other actors, or do you just turn up, do the play, go home?
No, we have a great relationship. Yeah, I think you have to, because you're spending all your time with one another on the road, seeing no one else really, because we are at such weird times we work at. We're working evenings, finishing very late. Yeah. So we get on really well together, and it's been a really lovely tour with everyone, and it's just nice to be working again with such a lot of people.
That's great. We told our audience that we were recording with you today, and we asked them to ask us any questions that they might have for you, and so we've got a few. And the first one is from a Max from the south of England, and he said a funny one. He said, "Have you ever considered adult films?"
No, I have not. No, hopefully I'll never have to be in that situation.
That's good. That's good to know. Our Cynic Culture has asked, "What's your dream role?" One
of them, again, it's one of those things that changes a lot of the time. One of them, though, I recently auditioned for, and I got to the final round for, actually. It was close, but it was for the lead in The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime.
Oh, yes. They often do that play at the Chichester Festival Theatre, I think.
The what, sorry?
The Chichester Festival Theatre sometimes do that as a play, don't they?
I don't remember if they... I don't know which version of that one that is, but this was for the sort of the tour they were going to do, the Nationals tour. And so I'd love to play that part. I think I'm a bit old now, unfortunately. He's meant to be 15, and I am 26 now, so I think I'm pushing it. But I think I love that play. It's a really important book to me personally, and so I think that's really, really up there for me. Yeah,
that's a good choice. Is there any screen roles?
Again, any screen roles that sort of jump out to me? I mean, I suppose there are like a few roles that are like up there for any actor, like, although to work with any director, I suppose. Like, there's a few directors, like, if I could work with Lynn Ramsey or like Quentin Tarantino as anything, I'd do it. So yeah, I mean, I'd always want to be in like a nerdy comic book project at some point in my career as some character, probably a villain. So I'd love to play some kind of comic book villain at some point in my career.
Yeah,
but
that'd be cool.
again, like any option I'd be happy with.
I can imagine you as a Thor villain.
I'll take that. Yeah, I'd love to play a Thor villain, a Loki-esque character.
Yeah, the
I'd love it.
Shakespearean angle.
Yeah, I'll take
very
it.
well, yeah. We've got one from Ashley from London, and she said, "What's the best lesson you've ever learned when it comes to navigating your career and your image?"
Don't be afraid of making mistakes.
Okay.
I think what I learned when I was doing clown, there's nothing more painful than going on stage trying to be funny and no one laughing.
Yeah.
It's the worst feeling in the world. It's death.
Mm.
However, you're not going to die. And you can do that and it totally fail and just be okay with that and just go, cool, that didn't work, and move on.
Yeah.
It's not going to get any worse than that. I think once I had that experience learning clown, our teacher, Mark Bell, he's a genius, an absolute genius, but also he sort of said it as it is and he wouldn't sugarcoat anything. And so, I'd got up on stage to do one particular like show or improv and it got no laughs. And like everyone was just looking at it awkwardly. And it was enduring it. It's the worst experience in the world. But then afterwards he goes, okay, that was rubbish. Why didn't that work? And you have to go, okay, let's examine why that didn't work and what we could change to make that better.
Yeah.
And suddenly it becomes instead of it's not a failure, it's just learning not what to do. I just don't do that now. Okay, I learned that there. I think that's a really important lesson, that no matter what, all the worst you can do is fail, and that's fine.
Yeah.
It's not that a scary thing. I think I have a lot more. I'm trying to work at the moment on writing a few scripts.
Nice.
And I've always been terrified of writing something bad or it not being good enough. And I think what's made me, I've sort of made a couple of short films and stuff, and I've just sort of realized that you as long as you put in the effort and you've made something that you really want to make, that's as best you can do. And even if you mess up and have failures, that's something you learn from. And the people who don't do that, the people who are worried about what they will look like or if it's not going to be as good as they want, those are the people who unfortunately never get anything done and won't ever learn the lessons of failure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's true.
Yeah.
We have another question from Maddie. She's saying, do you have any advice for starting up acting?
For starting, I'd recommend a lot of people to start off by trying to go to drama school. I think it's a really important thing. I think you learn a lot of lessons at drama schools. There are, we're very blessed in this country that we have so many really highly accredited ones here that I'd recommend sort of looking into sort of studying there, even if it's not for the full degree. I just did a 1-year course. I did an MA at drama school. But I found it very, very valuable. And then after that, I think I'd just say, just start making stuff with people you respect.
Yeah.
Like, just put yourself out there, make a short film with a bunch of mates. Doesn't matter how crap it looks, just make something and learn how to make things. Because I think the industry is now, the way we now make theatre and more to a greater extent, film has been so democratized right now. Everyone's got a cinema quality camera in their back pocket.
Yeah.
So just start making things now. And the people who are out there just making things, putting stuff out there, learning the craft by doing, are the ones who are succeeding.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
So that's what I'd say. So try and look into getting some formal training, and then after that, just start making things.
That is bang up advice. I completely agree. And we've got another question from Jack all the way in Canada, and he has said, is at the acting profession, are you able to juggle personal and family life and social life well with that sort of profession, or is it difficult?
Well, I'm lucky that I don't have kids or anything that I need to worry about. But it can be tricky. Like even with me, I'm single in my mid-20s. I don't see my friends as much as I'd like to because I'm on tour at the moment. I don't see them a lot. And for people with a family and kids, it can be really, really hard. It's not a friendly industry to routine. 1 week you're in Edinburgh, and then the next day I could get a call from my agent in the next hour that says I have to go to Japan tomorrow. And I have to go to Japan tomorrow. That's how it works. And so it can be really difficult. But you've got to make the decision about what you want. And for me, I've always wanted to do this. There's sort of nothing that's been secondary to this. Nothing that's been sort of above this, I should say. So yeah, I'm happy to have that sort of lack of routine and sort of have that bit of chaos in my life. And I'll see my friends when I can because I love the work so much.
Not really have a structure.
Yeah, and that can be hard for some people. I think a lot of people sometimes come into this industry having, loved doing some Amdram as kids or something, and they loved it as a hobby. And your relationship to acting will change when it's not a hobby anymore. It is your career, it's your job.
Definitely.
And like any job, you'll have things you'll complain about and things you're not happy with, or days you're not feeling up to it, but you got to do it anyway. And I think that can be really challenging to some people. But for me, I've just always loved it, and there's nothing else I wanted to do. So I'm okay with that chaos in my life, and I'm okay with not seeing my family for a while. But when I do see them, I'll have a lovely time.
That's good. I mean, say you were in a relationship, they could always potentially just follow you around. It could be quite nice for them.
Yeah.
They want to come on tour. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we do have people on tour who have relationships and partners who come out and see them. So yeah, you can make it work.
Yeah.
It's just extra work.
Yeah, and it's if you both want it.
Yeah,
obviously,
Yeah.
you need to want it enough
exactly
to make it work.
Yeah,
absolutely. Outlaw Blitz has said, "What's been your most challenging role so far to date?"
Probably this role.
Oh,
I can see that.
Like I've done a lot of other hard work roles still, but this is so physically intensive and emotionally and vocally. I mean, you might hear my voice at the moment; it's a little bit croaky.
Yeah,
because you've got to scream so much, doing my role, and he's so angry and he's got so much rage and so much tension.
Yeah,
that it's very physically demanding. So I'd probably say the role I'm currently doing has been the most strenuous for me. I still love it, but it is a lot of work.
Yeah, it's also quite physical as well because there's a lot of like stunts and stuff in it.
Yeah, there's a lot of very sort of things that put a lot of strain on your body doing this show for all the characters, but mine included. And so it really knocks you for six over the first couple of weeks doing this play. It really shocks your body, especially after a year of sitting on the sofa. So it was very intense, sort of restarting again. But it's been lovely, and even though it is hard, it's definitely worth it.
Do you keep yourself fit? Do you exercise or?
As much as I can. I think, again, the show itself is like the exercise when you're on tour. I don't have like a gym I can go to every week when I'm on the road. But when I'm back in London, I do have a gym I go to most days to try and stay fit and just to make sure that sort of rather than like, looking to like bulk up every day, it's more about like keeping myself like flexible and like making sure that, I'm not going to pull anything during the shows because, as you've probably seen when you saw the show, there's so many parts of that play that you can just twist in the wrong way and you just mess yourself up.
No, of course. Yeah, I definitely get that. And right, so we're coming towards the end now, so I just wanted to help promote the play. How many shows have you got left for the year or the season?
So we finished the tour at the very end of November. So we've got another month of shows and we are touring. So we finish in Edinburgh this week and then we're off to Malvern and then we're off to Brighton, which is near home, which I'm very excited for.
Yeah.
And then we finish in Aylesbury. And then after that, I'm returning to the West End with the play and I'll be there until April doing the same character.
Oh, nice.
So I'll be doing another 6 months of shows, roughly. But yeah, no, it's so much fun as a play. And so I'd highly recommend everyone to come on down, especially after the year we've had, just to have some silly fun. Yeah, it's such a laugh.
Yeah.
It's so silly, but it's also very clever as a play, and it's put together so well that I think it's fun for literally of all ages. And I know that's a bit of a cliche, but literally every single age, adults, kids will enjoy this play, and it's so much fun.
Absolutely, and I work around the Brighton area, so I'm gonna see if my workmates
want to go and see it.
again.
Yeah,
come along, absolutely.
Because I feel like even though the show's the same, you probably experience something different every time.
That's what I think.
Yeah,
it changes depending on the audience. Like sometimes there are certain gags that get way more with some audiences than they do with others, and so you've got to lean into that style of gag that night. Yes, sometimes things actually go wrong on stage and it changes the play, and that's always fun and keeps you on your toes.
So are you home for Christmas then?
So I'll be on the West End for Christmas. So I'll probably be home on Christmas Day,
Oh,
but
that's good.
apart from that, I'll be on the West End doing the shows, which is always a lot of fun over Christmas. We get great crowds, and it's always an extra raucous, I'd say, over Christmas.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Thank you. And thank you so much for coming on the podcast
No
to talk
worries.
to us, Tom. It's been great to chat to you again. It's been a while, and we do really love your play, and we do suggest anyone goes and sees it.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks for having me. It's been lovely to talk to you both.
Thank you so much, Tom.
Take care.
You too.
Bye.
If you like how this podcast was edited, and you're also looking to bring your podcast to a professional standard, allow me to help. My name's Elliot McKay. I'm a sound engineer and editor for podcasts. Get in touch with me via Insta at LELL_McKay MCKAY for all your podcast needs, including intro music to any genre you'd like.
So that was Tom Bulpett. I met him in college. We did a short film together called Soames War, and then also a few years later I was working at a bar with him in Chichester.
How weird.
When he was auditioning for roles and things like that. And
now he's gone up in the world.
Yeah, he's gone up, he's moved on, he's doing really well. And I thought it was so interesting hearing about the play.
It was James's face when I bought one of the guides. Is it called a guide?
The programmes.
A program. And James was just flicking through it, found it really, really interesting, as you do. And then he goes, I recognise that guy. I recognise that name. Oh my god, I went to college with him. And like he just starts going on a rant about it all. I'm just like, oh, that is pretty cool, to be fair. I couldn't imagine that feeling, like you go into a show to someone that you used to be like friends with and you haven't spoken to them in a while, and then you see them on a programme and they're doing really well for themselves.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy.
Also, I always really liked Tom. I just always found him really fun to talk to. And my favourite shifts when we would work at the bar was when I was on with Tom, because it was always quiet, and so we'd always chat. And then he also watched It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, so we would just talk about that.
We should have spoken about that when we were on the call.
Yeah, so we would just talk about that for loads of the time. I remember him the new season was out or something like that. We were working, he was struggling to find where to watch it, so I was sending them to him, the episodes. But no, I thought that was a really interesting as well. And the play, if you're a listener from the UK, the play is obviously still ongoing. He said that he's got shows till November, and then after
West
Christmas it'll be in the West End.
So from now until April to watch that show.
Yeah. I was thinking,
make the trip, guys.
So his character is the person that puts on the play, isn't it?
Yes.
So his character could sort of be like a Daniel Craig in Knives Out sort of thing, where he could do multiple plays as this character, putting on multiple different plays. Yeah. And then he could just have work to the end of time. Yeah. So I think he needs, if he listens to this back end of this episode, he needs to commit that idea to memory and needs to take it to the production company and be like, look, this is going to be evergreen like James Bond. Mm. Yeah. What do you think?
No, I thought it was really good, really interesting. Learned a lot about the lifestyle because I had no idea about what it was like and everything like that. Learned a bit, it was really interesting to know that I was right about the improv.
Yeah, I thought you were dead wrong. I was like, no, someone's in the audience and they've said that. I did not realise.
In a way, I could kind of tell that it was a little bit of improv because if it was someone in the audience that they put in the audience, I felt like they would have given more of a response. Yeah. But after they said it and he responded with how he responded, they didn't say anything else. And that's why I was like, surely that's improv.
In which case, if I see it again, I'm going to shout out.
Oh my God, yeah, help him out. Yeah, that's so funny.
I know. So, to end the episode, we just want to talk about ourselves for a little bit and our plans for the next couple months. We have got have an episode coming up with a singer. What's her name, T?
Sandra.
She's got some new music out on Spotify.
We have been trying for months to get her on, but we thought we'll save it until we're on our second season. So hence we're on the second season. That's how long it's been. And now she's got a song coming out. So we're going to record it next week and release it the week after her song gets released. Yeah. So obviously promo and everything like that for her.
Absolutely. And we've also I finally managed to sort something out for the court case 1 year anniversary special bonanza. We're going to be filming it in a studio in Southampton. So that's going to be happening on the 24th of November. So hopefully we'll release that weekend. So that's going to be a very special episode for you guys, which we're going to start planning.
And it'll be something different for us as well to actually be in a proper kitted studio.
Yes. So that's going to be very cool. So we've got to do a lot of preparation for that.
We're going to social media the shit out of it.
Yep, and it will probably, I don't think it will stream live, but we will be putting it on YouTube for everyone to see.
Yeah.
And as well as that, obviously, we're going to have Christmas, so we will be planning a Christmas special. We will probably take a break over Christmas.
Yeah.
But we'll have a special recorded to post out.
Yeah.
Over the Christmas
season. It might
season.
just be the 2 episodes in December instead of the 3 or 4 that we do.
Probably.
I don't know if we've discussed this with you guys, but we normally now just release 3 episodes a week. We'll try and release at least 3. And then 1 week will be a blog.
Yes, we have discussed that.
Just
before,
to reiterate, in case people haven't listened to previous episodes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, that's basically what's happening.
Amazing. So we've got some great stuff lined up for you guys. I really hope you guys are looking forward to hearing and seeing it as well. So please stay on all the socials at Court Case Podcast. We had some great interactions with Tom today. You guys asked him some amazing questions. Please keep that stuff up.
Thank you for sending them over.
Yeah, thank you so much for sending them over. You can either email questions to courtcasepodcast@gmail.com or topics that you want us to talk about, or you can message us at Court Case Podcast on Instagram.
Also, I'd love to say a thanks to everyone for the recent support. We're now on 1,800 followers. We're 200 away. We're hoping to get to 2K by Christmas, but you got to keep your fingers crossed, guys.
Yes, we want to get 2K by Christmas. So share our account around. Show your friends. Get them on the Insta and get us to 2K followers. That would be amazing. And we're going to sign off now, guys. We hope you guys listen to us next week, and we will see you then.
Take care, guys. Thanks so much.
See you soon.
Bye.